Hey folks, That Fix It Guy here, and today I'm going to show you how to swap out one of these external hose bib vacuum breakers. So come along, let's get to fixing. All right folks, this is an Arrowhead brass hose bib or outside faucet, right? It comes with an external vacuum breaker that my friend says half the time won't shut off, right? So when he cranks this on, water just continuously runs out of here like this, and he's ready to get that changed. You can see that he has already tried to wrench on this a little bit. What's gonna go on here is they've actually put some heavy duty Loctite on here, okay? When you're dealing with this kind of metal, it's probably good to put on some gloves, and we're gonna do a little bit of wrenching. You want a good set of channel locks to be able to take this off. So I've chose to go with the Knipex Cobras today because these things, they've got this jaw that will lock on here and it's not going to let go. So once I get this adjusted, super easy adjustment, very micro adjusting as well. We're just able to get on there and you're going to have to give it a good twist. Okay. Once that's broke free, it'll be pretty easy to take off. If you look down in there right there, you can see that is red Loctite. Essentially, that's thread locker, okay? We're not gonna worry about it with this because we're alleviating this. But we do wanna get it off of here. We wanna make sure we get all that stuff out of there, at least as much as we can. Take either a wire brush, or if you're like me and you forgot your wire brush, or you just like doing extra work, then you know, I just usually will take the blade or the back end of my blade of a utility knife. It came off all pretty quick, pretty easy, right? Most of it actually stayed in there, I think, which is good. So we've got the majority of that off. Now, depending on your size of faucet here at this point, this is not gonna screw a hose on. You cannot put a hose on this. This is not thread hose. This is actually really thin threads, right? Really fine threads. If you get up on that, you can see this is really fine threaded. Okay, and it looks like it's a little bit beat up right there too. So then you'll want to take a tape measure, and you're actually just going to want to measure how big this is. Once you get that measurement, or you figure out exactly what your faucet is, I will put a link in the description box below. It's going to have several different types of options for this, right? Because not all faucets are the same. Even Arrowhead faucets, there's a couple different versions of this could be. Like some of them, you only have to take off a portion of this and then adapt to that. It's all kinds of interesting stuff. But this particular one works with this right here. And what we're going to do then is we're just going to take this hose washer, stick that down in there. We don't have to put any Teflon, we don't have to put any pipe dope, we don't have to put any more thread locker, okay? If this just gets a little loose, well then just tighten it back up. Just get it hand tight with the gloves. As tight as you're gonna put your hose, really, and bam, you're in the game. Now you're able to attach anything you want, any attachment to it. Now I know you're gonna say, oh, Brian, but that's illegal. You have to have a vacuum breaker on here. Well, you're right. According to code these days, you are supposed to have a vacuum breaker on here. Now, I explained this to my friend, and he assured me that he was not going to leave his hose in a dirty swamp bucket. All right, he said, hey, I get why, I don't like it. And he's the homeowner. It's his thing. He decides ultimately what he wants. So if you wanted to just replace your vacuum breaker, you still could. This is a 1019-A486. And what I would do is, instead of putting more thread locker on and getting this to where it seals, I would actually just take a hose washer, put this down in there, and then connect that like that, right? It's going to do the same thing as the other, and then you've just made this removable. So I totally understand why you want a vacuum breaker, and it is a great safety feature.
But if you're not going to leave your hose in a bucket and you're always going to disconnect it or always keep it hanging, well, then you're going to be safe, right? But what this is for is if you actually were to, say, turn on your Roman tub upstairs and you're using big amounts of water and you had this hose bib on, even partially, and it was in a bucket like this, it totally could siphon it back into your house and contaminate your drinking water. Nobody wants that, all right?